Welcome to the Sweatbox podcast with me, your host, Romana Testaseca. This podcast aims to explore the transformative nature of building your well-being. What happens when you really prioritize your health and your training? What is the role that this incredible gym plays in our members' lives? Each week, we will bring you the stories of our inspiring members. With 1,200 members, 35 coaches, and over 80 classes per week, spanning from boxing to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA to Muay Thai, kickboxing, CrossFit, calisthenics, Ollie lifting, this gym brings together so many different disciplines. Sweatbox is quite literally changing lives. We are so excited to chat to our fascinating guests about why they do what they do, what motivates them, and how they've overcome the challenges they have faced along the way. So today we're bringing you a very special guest, Lele. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So Lele is an Olympian and she actually competed in the Paris Olympics. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Okay. So my name's Lele. I was one of the 5 Olympians who went to the Paris Olympic Games in 2024.
Wow, for judo.
For judo. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank
and what
you.
was that experience like?
Obviously, first time Olympics, it was unreal. I mean, it was beyond my imaginations. It was a lifelong dream. So just to get there was absolutely fantastic.
Wow. And tell us about judo. So for those of us who don't know that much about the sport, how would you describe it?
Okay. So judo is it's a traditional Japanese martial art, and the whole aim of judo is to throw your opponent. You can either throw them, hold them down, strangle them, or arm lock them. You've got a 4-minute bout in a competition, and if nobody scores within that 4 minutes, it goes into golden score. So golden score is whoever gets any kind of score or a penalty, you win.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you find, you mentioned when we talked about this before, that you do a lot of research into the psychology of your opponent. So what is that prep for you?
So before a competition, usually like at the Olympics, we had 2 or 3 days before we fought, I knew who I was going to fight. So I literally had 3 days to keep my mental cool. But I also had to focus on the girl that I was fighting. And I fought this Georgian girl many, many times. So I'm sure she felt the same. We both know how we fight. So it's like when you're at a high level, you know your competitors, you know how they fight, you know if they're right, you know if they're left. And it's just kind of practicing and focusing on different ways of like tricking them and being smart and clever to win. Yeah.
And how was that fight against this woman that you'd fought so many times before?
It was almost as though it was like a whirlwind. It went rapid, and I think it was because I was so excited. Yeah, I've never fought in a tournament where the crowd was just like, wow. We were in the tunnel, and before you fight somebody, like you're in a tunnel, and then next to you is your opponent, and you're both like in the zone. And I remember being in the tunnel and just seeing like the other competitors on my left and being like, right, this is serious. And like you could hear everybody smashing the floor. And then when I come out and come against her, it was just like, she was a better fighter on the day. It is what it is. It will always hurt me, but I know that I've beaten her before, so I'm happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to know that. And in terms of preparation, with technique and your physical preparation, what sort of support have you got in the run up to the competition? Do you have a coach you work with, the same coach?
Yeah, so my club is in Bradley Stoke. We're called Bradley Stoke Judo Club, and it's in Bristol. And like I've known my 2 coaches, Pete Douglas and Nick Brace, since I was like 14 years old.
Wow.
So we've got a great relationship. And like up till the games, we probably spent like 3 years, 4 or 5 days a week, just focusing on technical, refining my techniques, focusing on ways to win, focusing on my opponents, how they fight, and how I can get past them and beat them.
Wow. And how many hours would that be a week in preparation for a comp?
A lot. So most days would be like 4 to 6 hours of training. Wake up, either do gym, conditioning, go for a run, And then obviously alongside the training, you've got to look after yourself. So after I'd do gym or conditioning, I'd go and do a couple hours of like technical judo, or if I'm at a training camp, I'd do a couple hours of fighting, rest up. Like recovery is just as important as the training. So I spent like most of my time probably in a spa or a sauna.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Just to kind of replenish the muscles.
Replenish, get
restore.
better. Yeah.
Wow. And tell me, why do you do what you do? What motivates you to show up to those training sessions day in, day out?
I think the good thing about sports, like it's UVU. So I think the whole time my focus was to get to the Olympic Games, to prove to myself that I could do it, and I could be one of the best in the world. So that was my goal, really. I wanted to prove to myself, prove to everyone that I could do it.
When did you start? How old were you?
I was 8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've not stopped since?
No. So like this is the first time that I've had a break. So since the Olympics, I had 8 months off, 8 months of doing nothing, being a normal person.
Wow. No training at all in that time?
Pretty much none. So I went from like really extreme levels of training to nothing. And it actually felt good. It felt really nice to just do nothing.
Yeah.
And like, I'm very fortunate because of Pedro. He gave me an opportunity to start coaching here.
Wow,
So
yes.
yeah,
So how is that going?
really good, really good. I'm enjoying it. I mean, I've never like judo's an individual sport, so you've got to like, you're kind of selfish in some ways. So to kind of step away from competitive and like actually learn how to coach, get better at coaching and help people has been really, really enjoyable and rewarding.
Yes. And how do you find coaching from obviously having such a sharp focus on the Olympics and being so diligent and disciplined about that? How does that translate to when you're coaching, I suppose, Gen Pop, the average person who just wants to train? How do you think that motivation can be different? And do you think setting goals is important?
Yeah. I mean, like when I first started coaching, I was just like, just do it. And like, but I can't do it. And it's like, you've got to learn to understand some certain players, certain fighters. Some people are just doing it recreationally, and you've got to appreciate that. And I think coaching has also taught me to be patient, to learn how to be patient and teach people step by step instead of just do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is it easy to break it down? Because sometimes if it comes so naturally to you,
Yeah.
it's quite easy to actually teach it. There's a big difference between learning something and actually teaching it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I must admit, like even now when I'm coaching, someone will say, how do you do this? And I'm like, that's a really good question. I don't know. So I'm also learning too right now, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And yeah, my aim is with the judo coaching, especially in Bristol, like I started all my judo here, and in Bristol, the level of judo is low. So if there's some kind of input that I can do, I would like to develop the Southwest judo by using Sweatbox as a kind of community where everyone can meet up and train together.
Yeah.
Politic free.
And can you tell us the difference between all the different martial arts, between judo, jiu-jitsu, karate?
So I don't know too much about karate, but jiu-jitsu. So I came here in 2021 because I had not very good groundwork, and BJJ jiu-jitsu is very groundwork specialized. So people in BJJ are unbelievable on the ground. In judo, it's more standing. So it's all about throwing your opponent, and we're not so good on the ground. We're very good at like grappling. So judo links very well with like BJJ, MMA. It's kind of similar to boxing in some ways, like with movement and how your shoulders move. But the kind of judo I've been taught and the judo I want to teach is very like flowy, very open and fluid judo. So the aim for me, like, has always been to throw people at ease, not forced. And I think that's why I enjoy it so much at Sweatbox, because the whole kind of vibe and culture here is very open.
It is.
And I like this. There's so much combat sport here that you can dip into a bit of this, dip into a bit of that.
And so tying in with that, what do you love about the community at Sweatbox? How do you feel when you're training there?
Everyone's just so nice. It's open. And like with judo, like judo is a very traditional kind of serious sport. And I believe like what I'm trying to bring to the scene here is I'm taking it kind of from PED really. It's very open and it's very chill and there's no judgment.
Mm-hmm.
It's good vibes. I like it.
Yeah, it is. And can you tell us a little bit about the philosophy behind judo and the respect that you mentioned before?
So judo is a traditional samurai Japanese martial art. So when samurais didn't have their swords, they'd use judo, and that was thousands of years ago. And then over the years, there was a guy called Jigoro Kano. He is the judo god. So he technically took out all the craziness that samurais done and refined the sport into what we call now judo. And it has now become a competitive Olympic sport.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how much do you teach about the history side, or is it mainly just practical? How do you incorporate that in?
I mean, I do kind of say to people like, you know, judo literally means the gentle way. That is the translation of judo. So for the kind of judo I teach, being flowing and fluid kind of matches up to the definition of the gentle way.
Yes, you're transferring that to the actual physical representation of it.
Yeah.
And do you feel quite present in your body when you're practicing?
Yeah.
It's quite a spiritual practice in some ways.
I mean, I'm sure it's like it in any other martial art, but you know you're doing well, like when you're just having a fight and you're not even thinking, you're just flowing. It's a beautiful feeling.
Can you tell us a little bit about how do you actually qualify to be an Olympian?
My goodness me.
How does it work?
So it's a bit of a process. To qualify, technically, you've got to accumulate as many world ranking points as possible to qualify. So they do it on Olympic ranking points, and so because the Olympics is every 4 years, you've got 4 years to accumulate as many points as possible. And to accumulate the points, you've got to literally travel all over the world and fight in a lot of competitions to accumulate the points. If you win medals, the higher points you get. The less medals you get, the more you've got to chase. So it's very complicated.
So you have to really try and get as many bouts as possible.
Yeah.
And win those basically and travel. So did you travel all over the world for fights?
Yeah. I mean, so in judo, we have a national centre. It's in Birmingham. And to be funded, you have to live there full time. And in 2021, I made a decision. I'm going to do it all on my own with my club. So I left the national centre. I'd done it completely self-funded, which was a mission in itself.
Wow.
And yeah, I managed to qualify.
And you did it based in Bristol?
Based in Bristol, wow. Based in Sweatbox. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
I feel like you should do more at Sweatbox and like, do some workshops maybe for women and judo, because I think people will be so interested in that.
Sure.
So inspiring. And for somebody who's out there who really struggles, to go to the gym, they're not really particularly interested in the sport. They just would love to be more fit and healthy. What would you recommend to them to get started?
I think the first thing is find yourself a gym, ideally Sweatbox.
Yes.
And just get going. I mean, if you're unsure, like some people go in the gym and they're too like anxious and nervous. And most gyms, like, it's not like that. You shouldn't feel anxious. You shouldn't feel nervous. Most people are willing to help. So if you don't know what to do, ask somebody for help, and I'm sure somebody will show you. I mean, go in and try out some stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what's amazing about Sweat. You can walk in and you can see the calisthenics, you can see the martial arts, you can see the weights, and this is what I mean about this open environment. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are always helping each other out. So if you're thinking of joining the gym, you know where to go. And for the days where for example, your motivation was running low, or you started doubting yourself pre a fight, and your mental sort of load got too much and the pressure got too much, how did you decompress, and how did you have any inner conversation with yourself?
All the time. all the time. I mean, so the Olympics last year was in July. July 2024. In January, things were looking really bleak, like really, really bleak. There was two other girls that I was racing against, and I was ranked third. So things were not looking good at all. There was a lot of stress. There was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of financial issues. And I'm very fortunate, like where I live on a beach. So I always made sure I'd get out and about, get on the beach, take a breath, go look at the sea and say, do you know what? It's not the end of the world. I'm here. I'm still smiling. I'm enjoying myself. So that's how I'd kind of like decompress.
Yeah, the sea is so healing, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something about the sound of the waves going in and out. It's such a beautiful, kind of restful, easeful sound. It makes you feel so small compared to the vastness of the ocean and the sea. That's wonderful. Yeah, and I think just having that moment of calm to yourself, and I think one of the things that's really interesting about goals, because I work with clients a lot as a personal trainer, and I do believe goals are incredibly important to have some direction. But I also think that you need to be gentle with yourself. That you know, there is a chance that that goal will not be accomplished, and you can do everything in your power to get to that goal, and put in the work, have the routine right, show up to your workouts, and it might not work out. Or for your case, you might not have ended up at the Olympics. That there is a chance that could have happened. But you made it, and that's wonderful. But I think to have a little bit of leeway, that you accept that whatever happens. It's not just the result, it's also you've put so much work in to lead up to that. And that is such an important, valuable thing. I had a client recently who really wanted to do a triathlon, and she had this crazy program, and she did it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and she was so dedicated. And it got to a point 3 months in or something where she was like, I am so tired and burnt out, and this is not serving me anymore. And to also know kind of, now I need a rest. Now I need to stop, and maybe I'll come back to that another time. So I think, for you, the fact that you made it there, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. You showed up, you did your best. Yeah. And that's all that matters. And it's just such an amazing accomplishment.
Thank you. Yeah.
That you even got there.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously I had family as well to reassure me. That was a big decompression, friends. But yeah, that's kind of why I left the National Centre, because I thought I'm going to give this my all. And if it goes wrong, it all comes down to me, and that's all right.
Yes.
If it goes right, even more glorious.
Yes. And I suppose with judo, you're sort of on your own. It's not like you're part of a team. You're competing on your own. So it's a lot of pressure on yourself, but also you can let yourself off the hook if you've done everything you could. And in terms of support system, how have they helped you, the people around you? Do they really believe in you?
Big time. Really big time. I mean, my two coaches, they do judo as a passion. They're not paid to do it. So day in, day out, being there for me, traveling the world with me is just like, I'm so grateful to have them kind of people in my life. I've got a brother as well. I've been like, he'll be at the next Olympics. So,
oh wow,
is
he judo as well?
He's judo, yeah. Wow. He's 5 years younger than me, but I had him by my side the whole time, which was like really nice to have my brother there. And yeah, it's really important.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think it's really important to people who believe in you. Yeah. Amazing. And is there any advice that anyone has ever given you that has really stuck, that maybe when you're in a fight, struggling, you're feeling like things are going wrong, that line comes back into your head, some really good wisdom that someone has shared with you?
I think before the World Championship. So I had one more event in June, and the Olympics was in July. I had to basically perform. If I didn't perform, I wouldn't have gone to the Olympics. And one of the head coaches, she's a 2-time Olympic medalist, multiple-time world champion. I said, Kate, is there any advice you can give me? She said, you've got nothing to lose. Let it go. Do you know what I mean? Let it go. Just enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
And that's what I would like to say to a lot of people. Enjoy the moment. Because there's so many times where you forget to enjoy the moment. And, once the moment's happened, if you look back on it, if there was no enjoyment, what was the point?
Absolutely. Like, what are you
Yeah.
even doing it for if you're not enjoying being
Yeah.
in front of that amazing crowd at the Olympics in Paris? Like, when is that going to happen again? You know,
Yeah.
the Olympics moves every time anyway. So it's just amazing that you got to live that moment. And did you feel present in the moment?
I did, but I was so excited, and I like to win an Olympic medal. You can't be too excited. You can't be too nervous. You've got to be level.
Yes.
And that's the biggest lesson I learned. Like, for the first time ever, I can call myself elite. When I went to the Olympics, oh my goodness, there's some serious people at the Olympics. Like,
very inspiring to be around.
Really inspiring. I think just going, it wasn't even about the competition. It wasn't even about qualifying. It was just seeing other people at a higher level who are really serious people in life. And I think the reason why they're so successful is they're happy with themselves. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose the amount of work that they've put in, like yourself, to get there and to be around that level, apparently even just being around high performers makes you a better performer.
For sure.
Because it's just contagious.
Yeah.
Wow. And are there any pre-fight rituals that you do before you go into a fight?
I'm not really, like, some of my friends have, like, they've got weird rituals. I think the only thing that's a little bit weird that I do, like, before weigh-ins, so when I go to weigh-in, I always wear the same pair of pants, like, to a weigh-in.
Same ways.
Yeah. Other than that, like, I like going to bed at like 10:30 the night before I fight. So 10 o'clock on my phone, 10:30 lights off the phone. But other than that, I'm pretty chill.
Good sleep. Good sleep hygiene.
Oh, morning of comp, I like having like a big meal.
Yeah.
Some people eat nothing, but I have to have a big meal.
Yeah, to fuel you. What do you eat?
If I had a chance, cook breakfast every time.
Nice.
Like, being in Europe, it's a bit hit and miss sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of dreams for the future, how do you feel about the future? Do you think you'd like to go for the Olympics again or not go through that intense training? You've done it now.
I'm pretty excited, to be honest. Like, when I finished the Olympics, it was a bit like, wow, what now?
What next?
So I enjoyed like doing nothing for a while. But now I've got like big plans. So with Sweatbox, I'm enjoying doing the coaching. I'm looking to start working in schools and like feed more players here to grow this as a community. I'm also like looking to get back into it with training. I've done 2 like Olympic training camps, done one in March, one in April. So I'm starting to build back up again. I'm looking to like build a team to get back into it. To qualify, you have to have a solid plan and team in place.
Okay.
And that's a bit of a process in itself. So I think for the next like year or so, I'm going to look at like building all of that up, building up a system, getting fit again. And then I'll be back trying to qualify for the Commonwealth Games.
Wow.
So.
And do you think that will be a hard transition after doing a bit less and having to go back into that hard discipline?
No.
It's easy for you?
Not at all. I mean, like, before the Olympics, first Olympic Games, a lot of pressure. It was very competitive between the other 2 girls. So it wasn't very nice. And I think the biggest fear for me was a fear of failure. I've done it now, so I have no fear. Yes. I'm not scared.
That is such a big thing, letting go of fear.
Yeah.
I think so many people let themselves be blocked by fear. Even the simple act of walking to a gym is terrifying for some people.
Yeah.
So I think just letting that go, or if you feel it, feel the fear and still go and do the thing. Embrace it and let it fuel you. Yeah. Because fear can be so
it can be evil.
Detrimental.
It can be terrible, yeah.
And in terms of when you mentioned fight camp, can you tell us a bit how that works?
Fight camp?
Yeah.
So in judo, we have these things called like Olympic training camp. So it's like you go to countries all over Europe and you meet up for a week, usually in the middle of nowhere. So the last training camp I done was in Kata. So it's in Hungary, like in the middle of nowhere in the countryside. You meet up and you literally train 2 times a day, 2-3 hours a day. You just fight people.
People who might be in the Olympics as well?
Yeah, so
high level people?
The last camp I done, there was 800 people. You do 2 sessions a day. You just meet up, you fight. And like on one session, you'll probably do 15 fights.
Wow, do you come out
Yeah.
of that exhausted?
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Wow, but
Yeah.
good practice. to
Yeah,
keep you
really good
kind of-
practice, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what would you say to somebody who is maybe looking at Sweatbox to join, or has been maybe on the fence, would love to join a gym, but is just fearful and, is making up lots of excuses like they don't have enough time, they don't have
Yeah.
enough money. What would you say to them?
Come along, give it a go. Even if you just want to come in, sit where the chairs are by the door, I'm sure somebody will come up to you and say, hello, what's your name? What do you do?
Mhm.
Do you like to get into it? And just give it a go. Get rid of that fear of failure.
Do you still remember the first day that you tried judo for the first time?
I don't, but I do. I was about 8 years old. I was a really crazy kid. Like, I was all over the place. I was wild. So my mum and dad were like, right, you're going to do some kind of sport. My dad used to do a bit of judo. For some reason, he took me around. I tried a bit of boxing, tried taekwondo, MMA. I didn't like any of it. And then there was a summer camp down the road from me. It's like a 6-week sign up thing. So I went to a judo class. I remember the first session I'd done briefly, but I must have loved it.
Hooked.
I was hooked. Yeah.
And you said to your dad, I want to go back.
Yeah, I think the first session I'd done, I just really, really enjoyed gripping somebody up and launching them.
Wow. Can you get quite hurt in judo, or is it quite safe as a sport?
No, you can get pretty hurt. I've had my fair share of injuries. So I've torn my 2 hamstrings.
Oh my goodness.
Dislocated my elbow, ripped my shoulder.
Didn't put you off. You kept going.
I must love it.
Yes, that's a true sign that you really do. And is there any other turning points that you'd like to speak about in your career where, there might have been a moment where you wanted to give up and you kept going? Or have you always felt very steadfast,
No, I mean, multiple times. It's sport for you, especially combat sport. It's really difficult. When I moved to the National Centre when I was 17. So I moved to Birmingham at 17, and I actually moved there injured. So we're very fortunate to have a National Centre. I'd done a judo session, and someone fell on my leg, and I didn't know what I'd done. I went to NHS, they checked it out, and they said, oh, nothing's wrong with you. So when I moved to the centre, I had a misdiagnosed torn hamstring for like 6 months that I was walking around with. And I had a lot of injuries. I had all these injuries that I had them like in a bout when I was young. So I spent maybe my whole junior career off the mat, and it was terrible, like mentally having to cope with just doing rehab every day. I don't like doing rehab at all. It's just a part of the discipline, really, and what don't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, I suppose you learn from all those.
Yeah.
And you get stronger and more resilient.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for chatting to us today. It's
Thank
exciting to know that we have a member who's an Olympian at Sweatbox. So come down, come and meet Lele, and she can show you the ropes in judo. Do you do a specific age group for judo?
So we do Thursday nights, 7:00. Come along. It's an adult session.
Amazing.
You're more than welcome.
And beginners as well?
Beginners, whatever.
Amazing. Yeah. Come along and train with Lele, and you can say that you train with an Olympian. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.